Hey there. So today we have another Darwin's Rants, and honestly, I don't really have that much to update you guys on, but you guys seem to like the shit, so I'm gonna keep updating you guys. This is another job work update. I last updated you guys on Tuesday night after having a day of training. I was really pumped, and I'm still really pumped. I had 2 more days of training on top of that on Wednesday and Thursday, and it really wasn't really that much training. It was really more. We were setting up the bar a little bit, and then more menu tasting. So by the way, I gotta preface this. So training at a new place called Runabout. It's gonna be really hype. It's good. His first collab is gonna be with Other Half. So pumped for that. So talking about that, the food, yeah, more food, and man, the food's just really elevated. I mean, I guess it should have been like assumed when like your brewery is already is set up to have like oyster shuckers and like do fresh oysters for dinner service, which takes like just simple brewery nonsense to like a whole nother level, and like the food is just so freaking good. Yeah, I mean they have an $80. So it previously was a food court with an $80,000 like Italian pizza oven, and like bang, that pizza has been fire. Yeah, really good. The apps have been fantastic, well thought out dishes, and then I don't think I even mentioned 2 of the chefs. One of them worked at Le Bernardin, the other one worked at Alinea, which, if you guys don't know, are 3 Michelin restaurants in New York and Chicago. If I literally had to name the top, well, not the current top, Michelin restaurants, because things are hype, blah blah blah. But like, if I had to name the most, like 5 to 10 of the most recognizable Michelin or fancy fine dining restaurants in all of America, Alinea and Le Bernardin have to be on there. Yeah. They're just like Alinea for sure. Yeah, Le Bernardin for sure. Like easily the most famous restaurants in the world. Yeah, in America or the world, whatever. So food is just freaking fire. So I'm really excited to see how elevated this stuff goes. Unfortunately, there needs to be a health inspection. So it's like restaurants tied to a liquor license, blah, 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 blah. We can't even get a liquor order in. So soft opening was actually supposed to be tomorrow. And we're looking at like some point next week, right? So, yeah, excited. So I brought my cocktail books, man. I'm going to fucking do another cocktail nonsense. So I was just pumped for that. And the food's just going to be super elevated. And I was thinking to myself, where the hell do you get good food? Elevated food beer. And I'm trying to think, right now, it's such a shame. Red Light is my favorite, one of my favorite places in town to get beer. And the place is never really that slammed. And the food is freaking fire. And I honestly need to go there for dinner more because I've only had it once. And how do you not love a place that has vintage beers? This is Red Light, which I actually applied for. Unfortunately, they're not hiring, but they do Swansea Day. They have cask ale, and they do, they have weird historical beers and vintage beers, and again, I ordered a fancy chicken with jus kind of dish. You don't get that at a brew pub, right? And then I went down the road thinking of cool places that have had food and beer, and one of them was Tourist in New York City, which obviously had a Michelin star at one point when Yeppe was part of it before he built Evil Twin even more. But I've had some of the food there, and one of the things we'd order was actually just a bread and butter service, because their house-made butter was fire and the house-made bread was amazing, and it was actually pretty expensive for just bread and butter. It was $8, $9, $10, I don't know, something like that. But it was so good. We're fuck it, it goes well. And then the other place I was thinking, which I was oh, what's that place called again? I looked it up. Gode Zur, which it's closed now. Shoot, it's in Denver, and it was a specialty craft beer bar just focused on sour beer. And then my friends and I went, and we just did the charcuterie service for dinner. It was freaking fire. And that's a really interesting moment there. Split a bunch of bottles and got a nice big spread for it was almost 10 of us. And at some point we'd eaten the charcuterie, and so I'm so bad about this, by the way. Being an advanced system and stuff, you think okay, every meal you have to have beer with it. I honestly I understand the concept. I'm an advanced system. I'm actually really good about the concepts and understanding pairings and stuff like that. But in my personal life, I just don't do it that much. I just I like splitting the two. Food's food and beer's beer. And I understand that pairing is such an important integral part of wine and food pairing, and Cicerone emphasizes it. But just for my palate, I just sort of separating the two. Anyway. So at Gozer, I was like, can we just get the bread service? Like, like they had this amazing butter and like this, I think house made bread, or they ordered in fancy bread. And the guy was like, what? I was like, he didn't know how to ring it in. I was like, bro, like we already ordered like a ton of food, a ton of beer. Like, I guess we could order another $40 charcuterie plate, but like we're at the point where like, everybody's just picking out the bread and keep running out. Like, there's a point where, which is funny about food and beer pairing, where like one of the, I guess I think about it now, one of the best things to actually have in food with great beer is just like really good bread and some butter and maybe a little bit of cheese, right? Like that is not too distracting. So next time you guys go out to the store and just like, have really good beer, like if there's some really good bread laying around, grab some, and make that your night. Because honestly, really, really good butter, really, really good bread just works with beer. Right? Like it's just such a delicious thing to eat, but it's not that distracting to like, I don't know. So anyway, I was like, bring on the bread, and we like went like, one another order, two orders, right? I was like, yeah, so like started this thing, and like it's so funny that this like fancy beer bar place like had no clue what I was asking for. They're like, really, you can? I obviously didn't say no. They'll give us bread, but they're like, what this is new, and I was like, really? Come on. Anyway, so opening at the new place is gonna be pushed back. What else? Long days for me. So Wednesday and Thursday were 11 to 3 p.m. training at the new job, and then a 3 to like midnight at Brulando. And so like Wednesday was actually not bad, but Thursday was slow. And I honestly did the math. Like the money's actually not that bad. Like I'm only like 25%. It's only like 25% less than what I would normally make at former Sanford Brewing. But there's just something about, not doing anything sucks. Like, at one point I remember like, okay, so one of my regulars from Sanford Brewing came in, and I was like chatting with him for like an hour. He's from New York. I didn't realize that. It was so fun. An hour and a half. Boom. And then all of a sudden, like, at like random points of the night, there's like 2 guys at the bar, 5 people in the brewery. By the way, this brewery's ginormous. You could look it up, Brulando. It's freaking like 10,000 square feet or something. It's freaking huge. So like there's 8 people in the building. The place is very empty. And so like I can only serve you so many beers, and then like I don't know. You know what it was? I'm bored as hell and I'm tired, and that's the issue. Like I brought my book, so I brought my sommelier book, and then my Jim Meehan, Jim Meehan PDT bartender book, which is a fantastic book for bartenders, and just reading those, but I was just exhausted. And like in the end, like I guess like the money was actually not that bad. Again, I'm making not that much worse. Or sorry, a solid amount less, but it's just, what it is? Like, it's strange enough, but like, I guess like part of my personality and like, yeah, I just rather be like infinitely more busy and only make a little bit more money than just have to sit down and like stare at like read a book. But I think a part of it was just being tired. Like, being tired and bored is just not a good combination. Like being bored and tired at work, yeah, it's like torture. Despite how much money you're making, right? So it's like weird. So I was just like, oh, this night needs to end, like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. And like, it was a slow night. We're talking like at any moment, there's anywhere from like 2 to 6 people in the entire tap room. And it's just a big space. And like, you're not running around either because there's no table service. There's no food service. I'm just pouring a beer every like 10, 15 minutes, right? Like, okay, get up, pour a beer, and then like, sit back down, like, so it's really strange to think about like, how humans work, how like, obviously I appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate having a couple of shifts a week and blah, 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 and like making some money, obviously is really important, but man, I was just like, oh, so tired. So anyway, it's Friday and, another job. So, reached out to the owner, Brad. He actually, I met him at Ellipsis, and, really nice guy. He opened up a tap room, like a brew pub. Yeah, like a brew pub kind of spot. What do they call it? Tap room? Yeah, it's called Gravity Tap Room. And he's like, where do you call that? It's like it's a little bit north of like true downtown Orlando, but like on the map you'd count it as downtown Orlando, but like it's not actually walking distance to like where the clubs and all that cool stuff is. But anyway, it's a nice spot. He's got like 20 taps. Keeps it fresh. It's all sixtels, right? So it's like rotate, like let's get the coolest new hype, and hype kegs of whatever you can get, and pretty simple menu. You get a couple salads, a couple pizzas, He's only got an oven, so like no deep fries, on the weird stuff. So it's like, got some wings, got some like obviously you're doing pizza dough, so you can then use that to make like dippy thingies, and like it's a pretty simple menu. Like the entire menu is like 15 items or something, right? Like nothing too crazy. Most of them are pizzas, so it's like it's like a small menu, right? So training there, and it's not actually going to be like a full-time job or anything, or hell, I can't even take them full-time right now. It's just to help cover shifts, which honestly in the future will be useful in the sense that like runabout, which ideally at one point will be my like part to full-time thing for a minute. I was only doing dinner service. I probably won't even be doing full-time. Will be only dinner service at start, because like let's get the ball rolling before you start, opening up for lunch and all that nonsense. So help pick up shifts, and yeah. So just training there today. Again, I've been doing this for a long time. Hardest thing, just learning a POS system. And actually, you know what interesting thing about this place is that like, so one thing I learned at like Sanford Brewing is that we never printed menus. It was just too onerous to print out menus. We rotate through our beer, so we always have the beer menus on the QR codes, and there's a point where we just like figured out like how to like ease that for like a certain clientele. It was older clientele, yeah, and how to figure that out, blah blah, and like right, just QR codes is a little much. This place goes ham on it. I mean, he has no printed menus. Thankfully, the place is pretty small, so like the beer menu's up there. He does have food menus printed, so actually it's reasonable to figure out. But like the place is like very New York / Denver, and since those are the only cities I've been where like you can like QR code it, order, like now you're on the thing, and now you can order. Like the server doesn't have to deal with you. You just sit down, order, and the server can bring it over, and the drinks too. So even at the bar, we got like the ticket system. Like you're even in the kitchen. You guys understand how kitchens works. Like there's that like prints out a ticket, and like you line up. It's like, all right, gotta make this. Like we have that at the bar too. So like next to the bar is like, so like like let's say, good example would be, if it's really busy, and you're too busy to do anything, if you're pouring beers, somebody literally could fire a beer at a table like on the other end of the other end of the restaurant, and go bzz, 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 boom, here your beer, and you never even had to ask them what you wanted, and they just figured it out, and like so really high tech stuff. Thankfully, I think that part of town doesn't have like too much of people that'll push back on it. I feel like that's a little bit more young and hip and more tech savvy. But anyway, you just gotta, you as a customer service, you guys deal with it, all that kind of stuff. But 3 more training shifts. So I already had like 1 today. I was like, how much more can I actually train on? Like again, I've been doing this for a while. I think of myself as very sharp, and the good thing is also like the beer thing. It's just like so much of training at a beer spot just involves actually the learning of it. I'm like, bro, get that covered. So that's like, in my opinion, like a large chunk of training just out the window, right? So it's actually really funny. Like somebody, it's I guess it's Orlando small town. One of the guys is actually at the bar. He goes to the meadery that I love, and he talked about the owner, and like, oh, that's my friend. And then also he went to a bottle share of one of my regulars at Ellipsis that I was invited to, that I was planning actually to go to, that I couldn't go to. And he said, oh, he went to the bottle share. So it's like small world. Craft beer is fun. And so what am I doing? Shoot, I'm not working for a minute. Well, I have training again tomorrow, so I got another training shift. Okay, cool. Then football playoffs. There's not work involved. I'm just excited for that. And then I'm still waiting for my schedule for the new place at Runabout. They until the liquor comes in, it's like, what can the bar staff do, right? It's just like, we actually need liquor in the building. We need approval from the inspector. And then once we get the liquors, make some stuff, taste it, train the servers on it. Because the servers, my bar staffs are pretty dope. Like, when I understand, like, I like, having interacted with people and having a lot of downtime, because like there's other things to do, and like just chit chat. Like thankfully he's hired like all industry veterans. Like the bar manager, I feel we're a little bit more on the page with like fancy cocktails and that kind of blah blah blah. But industry veterans, so like no newbies, thankfully. It was really cool. Servers gonna have to get a little bit jived up on that. Like I feel like I didn't know what I was getting. I didn't know what my job was. Like I applied for the job. I was like, I might be a server, bartender. I don't know. I just want to work. And like it seems like the hierarchy sort of like has experience at the bar, and the servers are pushed on to do their thing, and then the bartenders have to help on that side, because Yeah, like like the bartenders are gonna we're gonna get questions from the server. It's like, oh, what's this drink? What's this cocktail? What's this beer? Blah blah blah. So, and then today actually, finally got an update by the way from Brulando about the my Maitland job, Sanford Brewing. I worked at Sanford Brewing Maitland. They painted the place, and the place looks a lot nicer now. Cool. So really, thankfully, I'm very happy that I tacked hard on finding other job opportunities. Because I would like to, first off, they're only going to be open up. Brulando Maitland is only going to be open up like dinner service too. So that cuts a lot of shifts away, and so I only will be available. So maybe like again, even if it open up, like I don't know if I'd have full time, right? But anyway, I'm very happy that I found other opportunities because, again, all I got is like it's painted and the place is cleaned up. You still need a kitchen staff. You still need signage. They literally just recently scraped like the door has that like sticker stuff. Like, this is Sanford Brewing Company. Here are ours. They literally just scraped that off this week. So things you need: signage, that stuff printed, hours, a new menu, a new kitchen staff, a point of sale system. Like, large part of running a bar, a restaurant, by the way, is that digital system, training people on it, training us, like myself, that and my whole front of house staff that is gonna come back on it, scheduling. The beer, I don't even know if beer is in the building yet. Maybe. They changed the tap handles. Okay, so that's done. The beer lines have to be changed. Staff need to be trained about the beer. February at earliest. So I need to go back to work. So that's some rants and updates for you guys. I'll give you guys another update next week. Next week, I literally have one shift at Brulando and a couple shifts at Gravity. And I'll probably have a couple shifts at Runabout Trading. And maybe, thankfully, fingers crossed, next week we'll have a soft opening. So, bam! I cannot wait to get crushed. Because guess what? You guys can't see it. I'm not going to show you. I gained a shit ton of weight. My fat ass sucks right now. I fucking, for the first time in I don't know how many years, yeah, I had to go out to buy clothes. I didn't buy clothes. I bought a pair of pants and shorts because I just couldn't fucking fit my pants anymore. I have a pair of jeans and a pair of shorts because, like, guess what? Let's say just not working for 3 months, being sick for and stuff like that, for having pneumonia, like sitting on your ass for 3 months gains you weight, especially when you're used to being on your feet and walking around 3 to 6 miles a day. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't even want to think about how many pounds of weight gain. It's got to be at least 10, maybe 15. Yeah, not pumped about it. So can't wait to go back to work just for my health's sake too. Just like being on my feet to yes, I've been a little bit lazier about what I've been eating, but it's partially just like my schedule is just, it's not good. It's not good. I need to go back to work. I need to lose fucking weight. I'm so fucking fat right now. I hate it. So, good luck, guys. Lose some weight too if you're in that. Let's do this together, and hopefully I go back to work and get some more shifts in next week. And I'll keep you guys posted. Have a great weekend. Shout out to Chiefs have a bye. Hey-o! Shout out to your great team that you're rooting for this weekend on the NFL. Cheers.